services starting, and I guess we don't have a discussion. We're going to go right into a presentation, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Want me in the center or you standing here? What do you want to do?
Right in the center.
In the center, front and center?
Which way do
The way we can hear you.
Cheryl should say Montgomery County Jail, I think, on the
jail PowerPoint?
jail PowerPoint. Yep, that's right. A couple months ago, it was requested of myself to walk through the Montgomery County Jail facility with Sheriff Mile and Legislator Headwell, Legislator Diamond, and yourself,
Yep.
Mr. Wilson. And we spent a good few hours walking around, putting some ideas in your head. So I was requested by Mr. Headwell to put this presentation together and bring it to you, just to show you some of the dysfunction that's going on in the jail, and Sheriff Amato can elaborate on some of the things if I miss anything. But this was some of the things that was brought to our attention was like metal shelving that's rusting up there in a lot of the offices, basically because of the age, the moisture, in some of the buildings, whether it be, from the HVAC systems either working or not working properly. I don't know if that's definitely an issue, but we seem to have some HVAC issues up there we've had in the past. Roofs leaking, things like that. But then again, just general overall age. Go ahead, Cheryl. The water at the jail is just bad, and you'll see it as we go further, but faucets and plumbing fixtures is just a huge necessity. Go ahead, Cheryl. Yeah.
Municipal water?
Yes, from the village of Fultonville.
So what's the quality?
Yeah, well,
Or high?
as we go on a little bit further, you'll see, and we'll get into that definitely. Roof leaks, which we're addressing right now. A new roof is going on the correctional facility as we speak. That project should be finished next week.
Eric, was there any warranty left on the original roof?
No,
Because a lot of times they're 10 and 20 years when
I
they
believe
buy
it was 20, the jail's 22 or 23 years old, somewhere in there.
Okay, so it's expired.
That replacement was $883,000 is what that roof replacement currently is. And like I said, it'll be completed next week. This is in one of the offices. This was interesting, and this needs to be addressed before next heating season. What you see, and I don't know who designed it, how it was designed, but those are electric heaters next to the windows. And this isn't typical in a lot of offices, but it is in some. And the shades that hang on the windows, you can see the brown tint to it. That one almost caught fire. So there's some issues there that need to be attended to, and that was, I think, it had been overlooked by many. And then Sheriff Motto brought me in the room, and you have to see this. So that was kind of that's an eye opener right there. That's not only, that's a safety factor.
Eric, is that shade still there?
The shades are still there, yes, but the heater's turned off. So, but something will be done with it before next heating season. Again, more roof leaks. That is just off the main office area, I believe. So those ceiling tiles there are underneath where the new roof is going on. So that dilemma is going to be taken care of. Tiles replaced. Several bathroom areas. You can. It's kind of hard to see there, but there's holes in the tile from where, right in that area, where fixtures used to hang, whether it was toilet paper holders or what, that have been changed. But there's several areas where there's just holes and cracks in tile from things that either fell off or a visitor came in, was upset, that their visit didn't quite go so well, and they ripped the units off the wall just to be destructive on their way out. Who knows?
Those grab rails are all rusted.
Yeah, I've got more photos of that. Yeah, the grab rail's rusted. There's one you can see. That grab rail is severely rusted, and those are in public areas where visitors come in. Weekends, I don't know what the visiting hours are.
Just go public, whatever, something like that.
Right. Cracked floors, the waste baskets that are stainless are severely rusted. Like I said, and this is just typical of several bathrooms. tile floors. This is on an entranceway. That's the main employee entrance to the jail offices. And as you requested, Legislator Headwell, I got some pricing on what those replacing these floors are going to be. My idea was pulling the tile out and doing an epoxy floor in there, like a poured epoxy floor. You see the dip, you know, it's a slip-proof type of floor, and then the rubber mats back over. For the entranceway, you're looking at looking around. There's two entranceways that need to be done. One's about $3,000, the other's $3,700, based on the size of the entranceway. And those are the main traffic areas in and out. And the floor tiles just they come up, they get replaced. Dan, as you know, they just, after a while, they don't stick. Again, there's another example of one.
And the bottom of those doors right there, they're all rusted out.
Yep, the bottom of the door, yeah, and I have better pictures of that coming up after. Again, you know, tile floors, cracking, you can see where the joints have separated out, where they've been replaced, trying to patch in. This is just off of that main entranceway door into the office area. You can see where all that had come off and it's been patched throughout the years. And not only just that, that's one of the expansion joints there in the office area, and even just buffing the tile floors over the years, over 22 years, just it'll pull them up. There's an example of a rotted door frame. We have several rotted door frames up there. To replace the door frames, we're looking in the neighborhood of $5,000 each. And I've got right now about 3 of them that really, well, actually 4 with the loading dock. 4 doors that really need to be done.
Typically, you gotta put them back galvanized, right? That's
Yeah,
typically
they
what we
should
do.
be painted, painted
It's
galvanized.
not that much more,
Yeah,
to get them galvanized.
right.
Those are exterior doors?
Correct, yes, all exterior doors. Right there, you can see that door where it's rotted on the bottom hinge is totally rotted off. There's no hinge on the bottom of that door. You could, you know, just the moisture that comes back up. And it happened to be a rainy day that day, we took that picture, and just so it's kind of, what's that?
Loading dock?
That's the loading dock door, yeah, which I have another picture in there after for that one. More tile floors separating up there. That's the main entrance where the public walks in. By 911
That's
dispatch.
actually the concrete under the resin tile.
That is, yeah, that is settled and cracked, right? But the floors are popping up because of it. Some more examples of the tile floors. You can almost see how the tiles have all separated. Legislator Wilson made a comment that he believes that when the jail was built, that the tile went down too soon. Is that?
High moisture content in
Yeah.
the concrete, yeah.
Window frames leaking in several areas. This is just one of the offices. This our beauties, the jail administrator. That's in the jail administration office. You can see the window frame, or the window itself has got a lot of rust on it, and how the sheetrock is kind of bubbling on the bottom. That's all moisture. You can almost put your finger right through that, and there's a few offices that are like that up there. That's one of the shower areas in the jail area, and that's from the municipal water, turning at that color. And the plumbing fixtures in that part of the jail are just as bad. All the tamper-proof shower faucets are, they're all in need of replacement. There's 8 of them total, I believe, and 1 has been replaced.
Shower?
Yes, in the pod areas, there's 8.
In each pod?
There's 8 in each pod. 2 in each pod.
No. There's at least 4 showers in a pod.
Okay. So, but there's 8 of them that are like really in need of, that are really bad. And then the next one after this one's even worse. Yes.
Was there any water treatment on the jail at all? Is it strictly 100% municipal water?
The water treatment comes before it hits the jail.
I don't think it's working.
No, let me back up.
This guy.
The Village of Fultonville, I know because I wrote the grant, the Village of Fultonville just got a grant for $600,000, and they are now putting in a system that will take the iron out of the water What they do is they actually put chlorine in the water to bring out the iron, then it goes through a filter, it takes the iron out of the water, then it goes through the water softeners, and then it will go up to the tower and out. So that new system that they have should take care of a lot of this type of problems. Because the line that goes from the tower to the jail is all brand new line, so it should make a huge difference.
Next. Just some of the, like that's a soap holder, you can just see the rust that's collected on it, and there's a lot of scale on that just from the water deposits from over the years, just things like that that should need to be looked at, you know, over in that's an HVAC vent coming from the ductwork in the chaseway behind that block wall, and just what it's done to that steel plate. It's hard to believe. We clean those. DPW does clean those. Probably not as often as the sheriff would like, but they have been cleaned. They've been repainted before, and it doesn't take long, and they're right back to that condition again. Half of the holes are plugged up on it. Typical. That's a bathroom and for inmates and inmate intake area.
The toilet was cracked and everything, remember?
You're right. That was in the kitchen area.
That toilet was all busted.
Right. So that toilet has been replaced. That toilet was broke. So this room since has been taken care of.
You changed the toilet, cleaned up, repainted the room.
Right. Is that the same bathroom? I don't believe it is. That's a different one.
No, I think it is.
Is it? This is down an inmate intake. It appears as though there's a lot of big moisture problem behind the wall that's coming underneath up through the concrete because the sink's not leaking. But you can see in that toilet again as well, that toilet has been cleaned by DPW, but because of the water, that's as clean as it gets. Block wall that's cracking in the cell area. I don't know if that's from the building shifting or moving, but Legislator Wilson had well seen that while they were there. This is the electric sliding doors, the constant work that's going on them up there. That's what a typical door looks like. See where it's been cut, repaired, welded. Yes.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break here.
Want to see me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Need music or something. We'll be waiting.
Who was the original contractor who built that? Well, you had subcontractors.
Who was the GC though?
Here, but,
Probably BBC. Or BBL.
no, it wasn't DVL.
Probably BBL.
Probably BBL.
Well, no.
I think Wilson was in charge of this job.
First thing I think, I don't think they put a moisture barrier under the slats.
Sorry about that.
Probably 5 different ones.
So anyways, the sheriff has currently got a contract with a company who's going to be replacing a lot. I don't know, the actual door, the top of the door frame is going to be replaced or just the hardware?
You're talking about the Black Creek?
Yeah, Black
Black
Creek.
Creek.
That's inside the cells.
That's just well, Black Creek will be controlling that door by the software.
Okay.
So, the
It's
actual
just the
part of it,
software.
that's
Right.
Ray Leather.
So I mean, this is it's a $30,000 contract a year. I think that's part of the DPW budget for the gentleman that comes in and maintains these doors.
You got a walnut-sized motor that runs that door, and that door's gotta be close to 300-400 pounds.
Right. And it probably opens and closes 100 times a day, if not more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one is to use your imagination. I don't know what that is. We got a dog cage and an electric chair there. I just had to take a picture of it. So, but then if you click on the loading dock, Cheryl, the loading dock pictures, Montgomery kind of say MCJ loading dock. That is the door that had the broken door hinge, and currently that's how the door is represented up there right now. We have red tape around it. We cannot open the door because of the condition of it.
Does that violate fire access?
Absolutely,
egress?
there's no, yeah,
That's
that's
something.
in
might
the
wanna
loading
do.
dock area in case of a fire. What he has to do right now is
Go overhead doors.
they leave.
We have
I mean,
a.
that- something like that, when you block egresses, boy, you gotta
Right,
walk on eggs.
right. So like I said, that door right there,
That the cement has been shifting and cracking because of that door not to open. We have, DPW has a contract with a guy named Ray Ludwin who does the door repair in jail. He constantly grinds, adjusts the hinges, and it came to a point where the door won't open anymore because it's settling in the
Well, that
contract.
one scares me more than any other one, because, it's a life safety issue now.
right,
The other stuff's aesthetic and,
Right.
that's life safety there.
right. So that door right there, replacement, is in the neighborhood of $3,000 for taking that door out. New door with the hinges, reusing the same lock sets, things like
Galvanized.
that. It doesn't state on your
But that's not gonna,
galvanized.
that's not gonna fix the problem, Mike, you're saying that's settling and causing all kinds of problems, that's not gonna solve that problem.
If you go there, I don't know if you've seen it, the floor is all cracked there.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I don't know if it's unsettling or not. I don't believe it is because you can't open it anymore.
We've done it before, done epoxy patches, and a year later, they keep sinking again, so that's why I suggest the error. Sometimes the best thing to do is remove the concrete in that area, re-tamp it. The ground was never prepared, but, it's got to have 95% compaction. It didn't have it, obviously.
So just for clarification, $3,000 estimated cost is for removing the door slab, the metal door buck, which is connected to the masonry units on either side,
Correct.
and replacing the door buck, replacing the door slab, using the existing hardware like blocks and hinges.
Correct.
Now, like in-house, Eric, like if the concrete needs to be cut, redone, repoured, is that something we have to do we can do in-house, or is that something we do out? What's our ability in-house to do
You're
it?
better off to outsource it.
I'd love to stand here and say that, my guys can do it, we're gonna save a ton of money, but same as the sheriff, with retirees going out and I'm short-staffed as well as it is. I've got 6 guys that can actually do work, and 2 of them are in the jail most constantly anyways, working, on jobs for the sheriff. But I think in a situation like this, there's a lot of projects that our department tackles, and I think they tackle, greatly. But I think this project here should be looked at being something else. If you click on another one that shows for a loading dock door, it'll see, do loading dock door left maybe. That's loading dock door. You see how the cinder blocks are all smashed? That's obviously from a truck driver not knowing where the brakes are, and he relies on the building to stop the truck.
He must have been a milk truck driver.
Could have been.
Past life.
Could have been. Yeah, delivering all the cartons of milk to the prisoners, but each door, the right side and the left side. Now, you walk into the loading dock area and there's a piece of conduit that ran up the wall straight at one time. It's now kicked in about 3 inches. So that's how far that truck flexed that door, or that wall when he hit it. There's no telling of when it happened. I'm sure somebody heard the hit, but
They didn't know until they see one day I was standing there,
Yeah.
the truck backed up, do it again, and they see the wall moving.
Yeah.
They go, wow.
Again, that's a structural issue. If you got a bar joist bearing on that, that's
yeah.
a dangerous
So every
situation.
time somebody, and then, I don't have a picture of it, but down below on the opposite wall, we'll hit the other loading dock door, Sheriff. Please. There's the other side, without the pad onto it, you can see where it's been hit. And down below that, I don't have a picture of it, but the bumpers on the back of the trailer, and the tractor trailer has the round bumper stops. There's holes in the cinder block wall on either side where those have penetrated right through the cinder block. I have that picture in the office, so I didn't put it on here. So, I mean, that's what I've put together in the presentation as far as what we need to be looking at in the future, budgetary wise for maintenance for this building. Other thing, I'm sorry.
Got a number on that, Eric? Everything we just looked at? Any kind of estimate? It
No.
all needs fixing. There's
It
no
all-
doubt about it.
It was, I talked with a couple architectural firms on what it would cost to do a cost analysis on the jail to see everything that needs to be done for them to prepare a detailed report. And that was in the neighborhood of $75,000 just to hire the firm to come in and do a complete analysis of the jail. All the pods, offices, garage, the flooring, do floor testing, everything. That was $75,000.
That's just a study.
That's just the
That's
stuff.
not the work.
That's not the work. I couldn't stand here and give you an honest number. I do not.
Yep.
But the study is 75, is in the neighborhood of 75 to 80,000 is what was told to me if we wanted to go with a budgetary number.
But we know by just looking at the pictures, there's a lot of little things that we,
There's things that we didn't see, you know, mechanical room
We
wise.
didn't go
electrical
above
room
the
wise.
ceilings, you know?
Right, we didn't go above the ceilings. The garage area, a lot of the mold that's out there, there's windowsills with mold on them. A lot of painting needs to be done, and again, you know, my guys are there every day working on what they can, trying to stay ahead of different things, but you can only accomplish so much at a time. I think we replaced in the neighborhood since I started, probably 20 ceiling tiles that were wet falling down until the new roof started. Finally got to a point with just, and I know Sheriff was getting upset, but I said, leave them out. I'm done putting them in. The new roof's going on in another month, and then we'll put them in and it'll be good. So we're gonna get to that point where they will be all new, but, I also had on there, Cheryl, for the heating mains in my building, just to show you, just the lack of attention to things. That's a heating main in the DPW office, as you can see, where it caught my eye when I seen a rust spot on the floor, and I took the covers off. Cheryl, if you would, please, slide for that. That's looking down onto the pipe. That pipe was about 1/8 of an inch from blowing apart and totally flooding that building at nighttime when nobody was there. Like I says that, and I have several other areas. Right now, the heating system in the DPW garage is totally drained because I've got 2 mechanics going through fixing things like this just to prevent a 911 from happening, hopefully, in my facility for next winter.
well, Jeff says he's been down a little bit, so he'll be able to help you.
What's that?
Jeff Smith will be able to help you. His emergencies are down with him, so.
Yeah, okay. And then, those are just some things that I'm facing that, you know, that impacts my budget, just, you know. Legislator Peck, you get a look on your face and, well, what else is coming, but.
Oh, I know it's coming.
As we talked, a few of us are aware that last week we had a flood in the boiler room of the annex building. I went through, it was at 4:35 o'clock in the afternoon. We got that taken care of. I noticed underneath the boiler, which that area was not flooded, that there was a lot of water under the boiler. Upon investigation, the boiler's cracked in 2 places. It's 5 million, well, it's a little under a 5 million BTU boiler in that building right now. There's already been a few sections removed off of it. A couple more sections are gonna have to be removed. The boiler's not gonna keep up in the building, if that's done. So.
That's probably normal wear and tear, though. That's pretty old. That's
That boiler, I can't imagine when that boiler was put in, I would say the 60s.
I was gonna guess 50s.
Yeah, 50s. Well, there used to be 2 coal boilers in there, you can see where they sat. And then this one
Converted
was
it to
put in to
gas.
replace it, so I'm, I don't know, I'm guessing early 60s, could be, yeah, maybe 50s, possible.
So high pressure steam, low pressure.
It's low pressure, works on about a half pound. So I've been putting some rough numbers together. I priced the boiler, I did a complete heat analysis on the building of what's needed. And about 3.5 million BTUs of heat is needed for the building. So I priced out the boilers myself. And I've got some numbers from companies. We're looking in the neighborhood of anywhere $75,000 to $100,000 is my rough guess where the budget numbers are gonna come in for, or the bids when they do come in. And not only that, but we had problems in this building last week. Speed control motor went down for the air conditioning in this building, and it's stuck in high right now. So it's a 7.5 horsepower motor, $14,000 motor. If the high speed goes out of this controller, this building's gonna be down on AC, so that's not just a motor that's sitting on a shelf. So that's really gonna hit my budget hard. Wasn't anticipating that $14,000 repair either. But then I had Cheryl email you all a packet, just to give you some kind of sense of what we're up against with the annex building, not only with the boiler, but she sent you a packet on the roof. And that's just a diagram of the annex building. Everything that's in red is roof that is in emergency state of repair, which should be done.
Is that a rubber roof?
It is in parts where the top of the roof is over the,
That's the old gymnasium?
yes, correct. Be to the right where it's red, over to the right in that area. That's like a vaulted half round roof,
Oh.
and that's rubber. Cheryl, if you go down through some of the pictures, if you can click down through them, it'll show there's pictures that show conditions, some of them are. Right there's a canopy roof. You can see plywood showing through.
That's right outside the boiler room?
That's right, yeah, that's how, well, that canopy is, yes, it's outside the boiler room that goes,
Where
the doors that go
where
in.
the gas mains.
Right. And the boiler room roof, which is attached to that, isn't as bad, but it leaks in about 8 spots. And then, like I said, the main over the old gymnasium, which is be where county executive office is, the county attorney, that rubber roof is, if you go through that packet later on, you can see through the pictures. It's all being on your laptop.
That looks like a
That's
ballast.
over like the public health area, right there.
That's ballast up there? Ballast
I'm
with
sorry?
stone on there?
Stone, yes.
Ballast
Yeah.
and roof?
Yeah.
Ballast, or is a built-up roof, or is it rubber with ballast? Or EPDM?
It's rubber with, that one over the top of the public health building doesn't have the loose stone on it. It's like a, what is it? It's like a, what's that? No, I don't know. Yeah,
It's
got a-
embedded into the...
embedded into it, I guess
The
you
hot
could say.
built-up.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
hot
Over the top of the boiler room, it's all loose stone.
Yeah.
That's over public health, and then just over top of the big part, which you call the old gymnasium, is just rubber. But you can see where it's got a lot of bubbles in it. And you can just grab that, and you can peel it right up, and then you're gonna have, you don't dare even walk on it, you know?
Are there other pictures?
The other pictures, Cheryl, I think are of, yeah, that one maybe a minute ago, there's somewhere there's a rubber roof. Yeah, there you can see the I don't know what you would call that, Dan, as far as the texture of the stone that's in the over the top of the rubber.
Looks like water from Fulton.
Look at the sign, it's in town.
But they've been patched and patched several times.
Eric,
That's over the top of the,
Eric,
whatever, yes.
about 2 weeks ago, this AC was out of that problem we had with the pan.
No, what happened here, last winter, when I started, there was a glycol leak in this building. We had a strong smell in the basement. After investigation, we found glycol leaking into the basement. There was a leaky pipe outside from a prior contractor that ran, it was all plastic. Blue joint didn't hold underground.
That was not the same
Right.
problem.
So that was fixed. All new lines were run, we ran them in the basement. We did that in-house. Saved the county in the neighborhood of $16,000 by doing that in-house. He said, my background trained the guys on how to do it, and we did it. Got it up and running, AC was working fine. Come in one morning, it's the fan motor that drives the main building fan, 40 HC. There's a speed drive, you got a low, medium, and high, depending on the demand of the building. Low's gone, medium's gone, the drive is good. So we've got it bypassed, and it's in high, that's all you got.
That's a hot water.
Right, so, and it runs, if we turn it off, we're afraid it's not gonna start in the morning. So it runs Monday through Friday right now. till that new motor, that drive motor comes, the controller, and then we only shut it off on the weekends. And pray, knock on wood, that Monday morning it'll start. Yeah, that's over the boiler room. You see all the stoves. Actually, that's off the back of public health. It's just a little wing there.
So going back, Cheryl, if you could go back 3 photos, please. Is that dish?
That's boiler room.
Is that dish, that looks like an old
That's
dish.
the public health satellite that they use.
They're using that satellite?
Well, I think they do.
I can't answer to that, I don't know. It's off of the cables come into their wing, so I'm assuming that
I
it's
think they still do.
something for their area. The only other, that would be, there's just a canopy roof there. And then the only other roof would be, that's the entranceway, and over by where room 111 is, next to the chimney that runs up off the boiler room. So the stone embedded in the tar, or the rubber roof, sorry. And then these photos here will be over the top of the old gymnasium, I guess as you call it. There's the.
That's right.
Eric, in that report, you had a couple of broken drinking fountains still. Did you,
In the annex building?
Yeah.
They're all broken.
well, I mean, isn't that a code issue? We gotta have one per floor. I mean, just,
Well, a lot of the offices, you know, they
In that
have their
budget
own
item.
refrigerators, they bring their own bottled water in, I guess, you know.
typically, I can't get a CO without a drinking fountain on each level, you know?
Yeah,
I know
they're
where-
just, from the water that's gone through them, they're really not, they're just not inoperable. We could put new drinking fountains in. I guess that would be something to look at after the water system's done.
Yeah, but this is.
But yeah, that's the other
That's
side.
fine.
That's the other side.
No, I just suggest you put one on each level. It just takes a big load off the county, you know?
Yeah.
The state could come in and cite you for that, right?
Mhm.
So this PowerPoint presentation, is this to bring it to our attention, repairs that have to be done, or is this the State of the Nation address telling us that the building is going to need to be replaced?
Well, I guess for my budget going forward, as it was asked to me by legislator Hadwell and Wilson and Diamond, what do I need going forward as far as, you know, for repairs? And we got a $100,000 boiler and you have 250,000 possible into roofing repairs. I'm just throwing it, maybe it won't come in that high, so are you gonna look at putting $300,000 into the annex building? Or are we going to, that could go a long way in looking at, you know, into updating this facility, if that's a long-term goal.
Fine.
Is it still in the works of our capital project and our progression as we're moving down the road that we're going to all move out of that with DSS having satellite offices at different ends of the county? We're going to renovate this building, shut that one down? Is
One-
that still?
When I took over DPW, that was mentioned to me. So that's my question, I guess. How far do I proceed? But at the end of the day, it's not gonna happen before October. That building needs heat.
On any account, you can never use a wet building. I mean, you gotta keep it dry and in good shape.
Correct.
So even though, if we even sold it someday, you know?
Well, they're my phones back there, it's all right.
I thought that was our original intention, eventually eliminating that building. So I thought we built the, public safety to get room in this building, to put it up here. And all of a sudden I see that filling up with something else down there anyway. So I mean, is that in the future for us or is that not in the future?
Eric, typically, what I've seen here, there's enough work that it shouldn't go to a small architect. Typically, that's what you do. There's so much, somebody's got to write a spec, what kind of boiler they're going to put in, the BTUs, even though you got a good handle on it. You could go out to public bid on the Dodge report and get a small GC to come in and
Well, I
do
pretty
everything,
much,
you know?
as far as the boiler goes, I pretty much wrote the spec on the boiler.
Well, you could kind of steer the boat on that way.
As far as what we need, and I'm gonna utilize DPW for, asbestos abatement for a little bit that's in there, and demolition of what's there, so we are looking in the neighborhood of a $15,000 savings there, from having a contractor come in.
You just haven't got enough time to do that, where if you had an architect come around and just take everything and take all what you've got here, put it in a form, and go out to bid.
Right, yeah, but I'm also looking at as far, as the cost savings too, and,
It puts a load on you, it really
Yeah.
does. That's a lot of work. I mean, it's,
I gotta do something when I'm in that office.
Legislator Kelly?
You can go to Kelly first.
No, you had your hand first. You
The question
did.
I had was, how many times has that building been underwater? What?
3 that I
All
remember.
right, so that was one of the reasons we started to think about computers in the cellar and things and that. Now we're gonna spend a lot of money fixing it? I don't know.
We have to have heating before October, so.
Yes. Does anybody remember where Paul got his boiler from? Because we had the boiler go down in the old courthouse last year, I think it was.
Last year or the year before.
And he got a used one or something and pulled us over.
Yeah, it was Boilers R Us, I think.
Was it a 3.5 million BTU low pressure steam boiler? Because I could probably get you about 15 low pressure boilers in there and try to tie them all together, but the labor alone to do that piping job is gonna kill you.
We could rent one from,
What's that?
we could rent one from Trojan too, if we had to have one in there too.
Well, if this happened in November, that's what would be happening. With a boiler that size.
There's sections on that boiler, if I remember correctly, Frank, years ago, that there were replaced sections on that boiler. You know, that long ago.
I think from what I heard, it was about 4 years ago. There was 4 or 5 years ago. There was a couple sections ordered for it. Dave Sully, my deputy, he's looked into trying to get them where they got them from New York City the last time. Non-existent.
There's like 12 sections to the boiler, and I think they
Yeah.
brought it down to like 8 or something.
Yeah, it is down to about 8 now, and we need to reduce it by another 2 years. At that point, it won't work.
Legislator DeSantis?
Thank you. I see we have an extensive agenda of repairs there, but did you prioritize anything based on life safety hazards or anything like that? Is there anything that needs to be addressed immediately?
The boiler would be number 1. The roof, if we had to, we got through with a Band-Aid last year, we could do it again this year. I don't know how many more years we'll be able to do it. The boiler room leaking, we can handle. It's a single-story roof. We've got floor drains in there.
And what about that door and that fire hazard?
At the jail?
At the jail.
That needs to be addressed rather soon, only because of the fire hazard issue there. The loading dock door, those are cosmetic issues. The other doors inside the jail, they're still functional, the floors, but these are all just things that, if left untouched over time, it's gonna just end up snowballing, costing more.
Legislator,
But even like you say, the cosmetic, like the sheriff was saying, he was saying on the inside there, tractor trailer backs into that wall, hits that wall.
It's structural.
The blocks fall down on top of someone, then we're looking at something much
yeah,
bigger
we're
because.
putting people at the county at risk, right, to that, structural,
So I think those things perhaps can be just carved out of this whole project and addressed immediately. Maybe we should take a look.
My vote would be that door at the jail's gotta be fixed immediately. Order a galvanized door and have a regular contractor come in and do it. I've got lots of names for you.
Yeah, like I said, I brought in one contractor to look at it, a local guy who's done some masonry for it, and it was only because he could get here quick, But yeah, obviously that would go out to get more than 2 estimates.
Yeah, aesthetics is one thing, life safety, like I said, and that other, with the wall thrown in, that's dangerous. The bar joist and bearing on that?
I don't think you can really pull off on first. It's June.
Right. It's gonna take me, it's 6 to 8 weeks to get it.
Right.
So it'll be August before it shows up.
Right, and then you gotta get it installed. So, and that's about it.
Right.
How many years?
3.5 million was the heat loss on the building.
But what's the rating on boiler?
That's in there now? 5.
5 million?
That was, yeah, is what it was putting out when it was full sections. So we figure with the sections that are left onto it right now is probably about just under 3 million, and if we take the 2 sections off, we're gonna be down just shy of 2 million. 1.75 maybe, and that won't be enough to heat it. There'll be several offices that are cold, or the second floor will be cold. Sorry, Megan.
Eric,
To the first
if
floor.
my memory serves me right, there was 2 doors at the jail. That one was the worst.
4.
Yeah, but
4 that are rotting, and that one was the worst.
Yeah, but one of them we showed me was all rotten on the bottom. The jam was coming. I mean, that's gonna fail too.
Right. Eventually, right. But that one there, like I said, the hinges are rotted right off.
You can't block fire safety. You can't do it.
The only other, since I won't worry your time, but the only other thing that I talked with County Executive Officer about was the equipment plan for DPW that was submitted. There's several trucks, we had the auction, as you know, and there's several trucks that need to be replaced. Hopefully before the end of the year, some buildings and grounds trucks, plows that we do for maintenance around the building. One 10-wheel dump truck looking to be replaced, and a sign shop right now currently runs without their stake rack truck that they use for picking up and setting up for work zones and things like that. So right now, our 2 sign shop guys, they load up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they head out to whichever road the crew's working on, they set up for that, they have to come back, load up for the second one. They can't just load up and go out and get all the work orders done there. About 30 trips a day, roughly back and forth to the garage to work out of the back of my pickup truck. It's just the fuel and the time when it's taken, that's just ineffective.
Chairman Diamond,
Yes.
do we authorize him to go ahead and purchase that door for the life safety issue? Does that go through Matt, or can we? That's a
The executive can do it, because it's a safety issue.
okay.
Well, I have money in, some money in my budget where I can go ahead and order the door and get working on it.
Yeah.
But, I just want to let you be aware of that. I'm probably going to submit a resolution for
Okay.
reimbursement of funds,
That's
hopefully, to my maintenance line, because it is only June, and, $14,000 fan, and I do $12,000 worth of doors. I'm pushing 30 grand. Come September, heating system or something else goes down, it's just, that's where we're at.
We need to think about how you can bring some revenue in now. Everyone else is bringing revenue in, I guess you gotta do the same thing, Eric.
Well, there was an increase in CHIPS funds this year, but I can't use CHIPS funds for building maintenance.
I think the whole purpose of.
We could start raising rent on some people that rent from the county.
I think the whole purpose of you coming in and showing the presentation to us is so that we knew the state that things were in, and yes, we understand that when you start spending money, that it's stuff that needs to be done.
Right.
And I don't think that a lot of people really understood the conditions, even the new jail was in,
Right.
without seeing what was in.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not pointing fingers at anything, but in my building alone, there's just been a lot of things that have been severely neglected, I think the boiler in the DPW garage is older than the annex, or as old. And that one's been underwater as many times, so since that one's I got the guys working on it right now, so knock on wood, we're hoping that ours doesn't go down this year, so.
I know you're doing the best you can do. I do appreciate what you're doing, and, in the business you're in, you spend money. And we know that's what you have to do. I mean, and it's part of it.
Great presentation.
Yeah,
Eric was lucky you hired a plumber.
Yeah, well, like I said, if there's anything else I can answer or do, just, phone's always on.
you all set?
I'm good.
Anybody else have anything in the discussions? All right.
By the way, the girls up downstairs said they were surprised you came downstairs to try to fix the air conditioning 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, well, that's
7:37.
Thank you.